What's up and welcome to 17 Non. Today we're going to be making Yaki Udon. Yaki Udon is a simple, delicious fried noodle dish that can be found throughout most izakayas in Japan. This recipe won't take you long to make at all, and it's one of those noodle dishes that you gotta go and make right away. This time we're gonna be using beef for this Yaki Udon, but you could use seafood, various other vegetables, or even proteins for this recipe. Regardless what you put into it, it's still gonna be good. And with all that said, let's make Yaki Udon. What's up and welcome back. Let's start off this recipe by making up the sauce for Yaki Udon. This is the simplest of sauces to make but tastes delicious. In a mixing bowl we simply want to add 4 tablespoons of tomato ketchup, 4 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 5 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons of dark soy, 1 tablespoon of light brown sugar, and finally I like to add some Togarashi for a little bit of heat. Mix well until smooth, and that's all there is to it for this sauce. You can adjust the seasoning to this if you like by adding more Worcestershire sauce or light soy. When ready, place to one side and we'll use this later. Next we want to move on to prepare and marinate some beef. For the Yaki Udon I'm going to be using some beef fillet, however you could use ribeye or various other proteins or even just vegetables. Slice the beef into strips that are neither too thick or too thin. Then when sliced, add the beef to a large mixing bowl. For the marinade, first let's add 1 egg white, 2 tablespoons of light soy, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of mirin, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and finally season with a good pinch of black pepper. Mix this well, then we're looking for the beef to become nice and velvety. This marinade will not only add flavour, but also protect the beef from overcooking. Now nice and velvety, marinate for at least half an hour, and then we'll come back to this later. Next we want to move on to preparing some vegetables for this Yaki Udon. First crush 2 garlic cloves, then chop nice and fine. Use a microplane to grate 5 grams of ginger. Chop half a white onion into thick-ish slices. Cut half a white cabbage in half, then into bite-sized pieces. Cut 5 spring onions into batons. Slice 1 carrot into strips, then into a fine julienne. And for the mushrooms, I'm going to be using these small trumpets. However, shiitake or oysters will do just fine. Roughly chop the mushrooms and store all of the vegetables to one side for now. Just before we begin to cook, I like to eat Yaki Udon with some soy eggs. Simply to make these in a small bowl, add 40 ml of mirin and 60 ml of light soy. Mix this really well, then in a saucepan we want to add a few eggs and boil for 6.5 minutes. Stir the eggs to create a centered egg yolk, then after 6.5 minutes we can remove the eggs and place into a bowl of ice cold water. This will stop the cooking process and make it easier to peel the eggs. When chilled, remove the eggs and peel. Then finally we can add the eggs to the soy and mirin cure. Cover tightly and allow to sit in the liquid for at least 1 hour. Now that everything's prepared, we can move on to the cooking part of Yaki Udon. Before cooking, we need to first pre-cook the udon. For this recipe, I'm using homemade udon, and I'll leave the link on how to make those at the end of this video. Packet udon will also work, but the cooking time will be slightly different. First, bring a pan of water up to a boil. Now add the udon and stir vigorously. Fresh udon will take around 10 to 12 minutes to cook. However, if using instant, cook to what the packet suggests. Stir often, as this will prevent the udon from sticking. After around 10 to 12 minutes, test the udon to see if they're ready. You're looking for the udon to be nice and bouncy and just about cooked. When ready, remove from the heat and drain off the liquid. If you use fresh udon, then they can tend to be a little bit salty at this point. Wash thoroughly under cold running water, and this will help remove some of the salt. When chilled, place into a bowl, then drizzle with some sesame oil, and this will prevent the udon from sticking. Keep to one side, and we're now ready to bring everything together. Now to get busy with the rest of the dish. Place a wok or pan onto a high heat, then add a good amount of cooking oil. When the pan gets smoking hot, we first want to go in with the beef. Try not to overload the wok at this point, as you want to keep as much heat in the wok as possible. Stir fry for around 1 to 2 minutes until the beef gets nice and caramelized. At this point, take care not to overcook the beef, we're only looking for it to get nice and crispy. When ready, remove the beef from the wok and place this to one side for now, and doing this will prevent it from overcooking later. Place the wok back onto the heat and add another drizzle of cooking oil. Get the wok nice and smoky hot again, then we can go ahead and add the sliced mushrooms and onions first. Stir fry for a minute or two and want the onions and mushrooms to get nice and golden brown. Next, add the minced garlic and ginger. And again, continue to stir fry until nice and fragrant. And now it's time to add the sliced carrot and udon noodles. Continue to stir fry on a high heat, and at this point we want to get the noodles nice and crispy and to soak up all the flavours from the vegetables. We're just about there, and at this point we want to add the sliced cabbage, spring onions and udon sauce. As this sauce is kind of raw, we want to cook it out a little bit to make it nice and sticky. And we also wanted to evenly coat the noodles and vegetables. To finish the yaki udon, we can go back in with the beef, and I like to season with Togarashi. This is totally optional, but I like to add a little bit of heat. Continue to stir fry the yaki udon, and we also want to get that sauce nice and reduced. When ready, season with black pepper, then the yaki udon is ready. Pull from the heat and we're just about ready to serve. Also, by this point the soy egg should now be ready. Slice these in half and we'll place these on top of the yaki udon. Finally, prepare a few optional toppings and then we're ready to serve. And that's it for the recipe. We now have yaki udon. If you want to take things to that next level, I highly recommend that you make your own udon noodles. Regardless, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one anyways. If you enjoyed this recipe, then you can help support the channel by clicking on the like and subscribe button. Blessings to you all, have fun cooking, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.